that. And joining us is a very special guest. We have with us Mr. Prabhu Dhamodharan, who is from India Texpreneurs Federation. Mr. Dhamodharan, thank you so much for joining us. And I remember last time when we spoke, you mentioned to me that you have done a survey in May 2023 talking about rather various companies participated, 73 in number, where there has been a conversation about domestic markets, export markets as well, and the kind of capacity utilization that many of your mill members seem to be doing right now. I want to start with the domestic markets first, and with the cotton prices which have corrected quite strongly, what is the sense that you get in sense of buying, margins and the domestic demand itself?
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling us. Actually, the domestic market, we conducted a survey to get a pulse from our members who are into domestic manufacturing as well as export manufacturing for apparels. We got a sense that domestic manufacturing is picking up. They are running at better utilization levels compared to the last quarter. And members, the manufacturing units also mentioned that the order visibility is much better compared to the last quarter. And everyone expects that before September, they can reach the full utilization levels. This is what the domestic manufacturer says. In contrast, exporters who are into purely for exports, they are still struggling. Only 30% of the units are well above the 70% utilization. Many are with 40 to 50% utilization level. Idle capacities are there because they are not getting sufficient order from any markets across the globe. The main reason being, we all know that inventories built up and now slowly the inventories are exhausted in the markets. Only home textile segment recovered. Apparel is taking a lot of time. And majority of the manufacturers are feeling that only the steady state will start from October month. Until then, the companies will operate across the value chain under utilization only.
Right. Mr. Dhamodharan, if we look at the last year as well, the apparel export numbers clearly have been quite dismal. You said it would start picking up by the month of September, October from this year. From there on, are we expecting a steady growth going forward?
It is possible. The second part of the year, across the world, we are getting, one part of positive story is the guidance from the large retailers in both US and UK or European markets. They are indicating that the single-digit volume contraction may be there. So they are not expecting a drastic fall in consumption. So inventory is exhausted. Naturally, the second part of the financial year should be good for Indian manufacturers. The only concern is we will touch the earlier volume of maybe 14 or 15 or 16 billion dollars on a yearly basis. The big question is whether we are really capitalizing the China Plus One opportunity, because the monthly run rate, we are at $1.2 billion, but Bangladesh is at $3.2, $3.3 billion, Vietnam at $2.5 billion, China at $10 billion. So whatever the shift is happening from China, whether India is going to capitalize or not, that's up to a lot of factors. And we are also seeing a lot of interest from the manufacturers, the buyers on placing order with integrated players who have built size, who have the entire ecosystem under one place. So the strategy should be the large players should compete with Bangladesh in terms of volume business. Small and medium-sized players should work with small retailers for high value-added products. Those things, place it right, India will do in second part of the year.
Mrs. Dhamodharan, also, what's your sense on the raw material cost? Because last year, cotton prices were at 12,000 rupees a quintal. We are trading at 7,000 to 8,000 right now. So does that work well for the industry?
Yes, definitely. Cotton prices, whatever the current prices, as we predicted, it corrected well, because now cotton is practically traveling on the real, matching with the real demand. There is no much of speculation. Liquidity issues are there. So naturally, the companies are not betting on higher inventory. Nobody wants to keep inventory in the system. So cotton prices are soft. So this will definitely help in getting export orders, because we are now aligning with the international markets, and the cotton prices correction, whatever happened, is a good thing for the textile sector.
Mr. Mr. Dhamodharan, I also want to understand. I remember from our conversation when we met in Mumbai, you were suggesting on how the shirt export orders itself has seen a very sharp decline. So when you look at various segments within the apparel industry as well, whether whichever clothing do you think is picking up and what markets do you see picking up in the international arena?
Okay. Actually, the demand pattern changes from season to season. But overall, as I mentioned a few minutes back, the real concern is India is not growing at a desirable rate in terms of volumes. Whatever the appreciation happened due to dollar increase or the price increase, we are witnessing some kind of a growth. But if you take the numbers, for example, T-shirt, during 2017-18, we exported around 93 crore pieces of T-shirt. And during last financial year, we achieved only 89 crore T-shirts. So that I'm telling that just this is an example. You take baby garments or any product, the volume growth is not there. That is the real concern. We need to grow in volumes because now the interest is there. Only some mismatch is there. Even we are urging our own entrepreneurs to go for good, more compliant and decent size factories to capitalize the volume business. Now the volume business, only the trick is price. If we are able to compete with Bangladesh, the US buyers want to give a lot of orders. So industry also need to invest. Government also trying to bring a lot of new scheme like Mitra. At the same time, the fundamental policies like removal of import duty on cotton, that kind of structural reforms also will boost the mood of the entrepreneurs and people will boldly invest for the next growth cycle.
All right, Mr. Dhamodharan, thank you so much for joining in and giving us your views on the textile space. Of course, we will keep an eye out on the impact of this on Indian textile players as well. Thanks a lot, Manisha, for bringing us up to speed with that as well. We take a short break, come back on the other side.